Eradicator.
Hello and welcome to the channel, it's Irad, and in this video we are going to check out the first jump points that are going to come in Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, hopefully before the end of this year. I cannot wait, guys. This is really a feature that I know that a lot of you also are really anticipating, so let's see how these are going to be.
A jump point connects 2 points, disparate spaces in the physical space. So basically you go through an opening on one side,
so it's
you travel through
right?
sort of a tunnel, and then you pop out somewhere else in space.
Nice.
Jump points are naturally occurring. The first discovery of a jump point was actually by accident.
Some people watch Star Citizen Wars.
Cargo ship that had a leaky quantum drive basically triggered the first opening of the jump point. It accidentally slipped inside and then disappeared, and they found it several years later when Nick Croshaw, who basically was the first one who discovered that the leaking quantum engine was the cause of triggering this rip in time-space to basically open up. And so he basically kind of solidified the knowledge.
Okay, cool lore here. That's why we're seeing Dave had on here in terms of the lore.
There's been a lot of information shared over the years. A lot of it has changed as we've learned and had new ideas.
So here's a primer on the first jump point we're building today.
By some of the people that are currently building it.
And what you see and hear is super work in progress.
So welcome to Inside Star
they always say
Citizen
super work in
Intro to
progress,
Jump
but then it
Points.
kind of looks like that in the game. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Cool music though. I like the music. Some people are saying it's like a Doctor Who intro. I've never watched this show, so I don't know. Anyway, let's check out those jump points. Come on. Ah, there they are. Right by the pyro jump gate.
So a jump
station
point
here.
is basically the means at which a player is able to transition from one solar system to another. There are two different jump point experiences, permanent and transient.
The permanent jump points are the ones that
I think that they did talk about that in the past, right? That there are some kind of jump points that would just randomly appear and disappear. So that's what they're talking about here.
The most stable, and they are always available for the player to travel through.
It's the well-trafficked, well-traveled route.
So these are the main ones that are on the star map,
which
right?
you find on the star map. The ones that you would like, say, transition from Stanton to Pyro, Pyro to Stanton.
Since they're stable and generally larger and easier to travel, there are infrastructure built up around them to support the commerce that goes through them on a regular basis. So we made a creative decision to remove the circular gates that we were doing in some of the concept art before.
Like those.
It just didn't match the reality of how we wanted to set these up in the world. They're supposed to be naturally occurring. And
I mean, they could be naturally occurring, but at the same time controlled with a gate that's built around them, right? I mean, that's how I imagine them, but I guess they decided to change that and remove the gate. I mean, the gate could have been like really a massive structure, right? So I don't know how massive that would have been. Maybe it would have looked too irrealistic, I would say, but at the same time, the UEE and lore has also been capable of building massive structures too, so I don't know. I guess we'll have to look at the result.
And if you have like this infrastructure around it making this circular jump gate, then that's not showing like how it actually functions in the world.
We've lost.
Sounds like they believe it's the real world
when it comes
almost.
to permanent jump points. So the main jump points that lead from system to system will accept any size ship.
So amazing though. Okay, this looks great.
Transient jump points are more ethereal.
First you have to find them, and once you've found them, you don't know where they go.
The temporary ones,
We like to call in the narrative team the Swiss cheese approach to jump points, which are smaller access points to the main tunnel. Those will still be restricted by small, medium, and large. So basically, it opens up opportunities for smaller ships to kind of sneak their way through.
A transient jump point may only be able to be used once. It may be a little bit more permanent, but you can never tell how long does it last once you find it.
Oh, that's really cool. So that would be fantastic for exploration gameplay. You know, you find those transient jump points, you sell the data on the star map or something, and that's how our explorers would make some kind of income. At least one way for explorers to make an income. That's cool. I don't think that's not coming in 4.0. At least that's not on the roadmap. But still, this is definitely something that explorers should be looking forward to.
Are looking to avoid scrutiny will look for these sort of side routes to get into the jump point to bypass, security or customs or
I
stuff like
love that animation. This looks so cool.
In 4.0, our first and only jump point will be the one linking Stanton to Pyro.
There, right, so the temporary ones will not be there, okay.
Maybe the best way to share this design is simply to walk you through the whole thing.
All right.
So we leave Lorville, we put up to our
I think Lorville is the closest one to the Pyro
and we
getaway, right?
set our course for the Stanton to Pyro jump point.
It could have been ArcCorp as well.
QT there. And then upon arrival, you will fly down to the gateway station that's located there, because you're going to want to make sure that you're stocked up for your trip into Pyro, because Pyro may well not have the things that you're used to in Stanton.
Or they might also be very expensive, right? Fuel might not be produced there en masse like it is in the Stanton system. It might be more expensive. Yeah, you might want to get your supplies, even some basic supplies like water or food, and put those into your ship. You'll transfer that into a local inventory eventually. But then, if you don't, and you get that at some of the station, maybe you don't want to have the cronuts, maybe you don't want to have the noodles. You get your supplies there, right? Makes sense. By the way, if you want some noodles in the Pyro system, also let me know in the comment section down below. Just write there, who wants noodles?
You probably want to pick up some ammo, and you want to pick up some more fuel, probably some more fuses, and then after that, undock, and then turn yourself to view
the fuses,
the jump
which is
point.
going to be very
the jump point
very useful for the resource management system.
Will be visible from far distance. It probably will appear as a small star kind of a thing that just pulses and asks you to come near me.
You'll see the massive whirlwind from the gravity pool that the jump point itself is creating, which is a gas cloud, and you'll see it in various different colors or forms. You can fly towards where the jump point will be, and there is structures in Stanton that sort of lead you towards the jump point.
When you approach the jump point,
I like how they give
what
all
you'll
those
hear is
disclaimers.
the general ambience of the whole area, whether that's the distant portal emitting energy or violent clashes of thunder that is drawing the player into this central jump zone.
Yeah, I do feel
And as we get closer,
already,
this will build up and build up, and the player will feel like they're being drawn into something primordial.
With jump points, multiple players can take them at the same time, so it is
Are we gonna have to queue?
probably likely that you will encounter other players waiting to make their jumps.
Okay.
And
maybe
you'll
we can
also see the security and the turret infrastructure.
Okay, so basically we have to line up to jump. Can we go in groups? I think we should go in groups, right? We should be able to do that.
Structure around it that's providing a safe experience on the permanent jump gates.
In order to perform your jump, the first thing you need to do is get closer to the jump point.
Okay.
But you won't be able to go all the way up to it. When it's not active yet, it has a field around it that will push you away until you've attuned to the anomaly that allows you to go through.
You have to call ATC.
So there's actually
the anomaly needs ATC to be able to allow you to enter.
Whoa.
When you're
So they remove the gate. It's a natural phenomenon, but we have to call ATC? Why? What's the logic here? What's going on? Why do we have to call ATC? Doesn't make any sense.
using a jump point, you're actually just an individual. So the ATC calls that you have to make are for you, and then the groups that you go in are designated by the ATC.
If you contact ATC at the same time, you can be put into the queue together, but there's no guarantee that you'll be in the same jump group.
If you want to jump with your friends, you need to make sure that you arrive
Why don't we just
together.
Jump, right?
And when you call ATC, you will be able to see how much space is in the group.
Guys, I don't understand the logic
friends
behind calling the
and you want
ATC.
to
Let me know
together,
in the comment section down below here.
Be able to know exactly how much room there is in that group. And if it's not enough for you and you want to go with your friends later, then you can forfeit and you go again.
In the future, I definitely want to have some more quality of life features where you can get into queue at the ATC as a party. But currently, our ATC does not support queuing as a party, so you'll just be doing it as an individual.
Once
wow, so we're gonna have to go, let's say we have a group of people, let's say 5 ships, right? We're gonna have to go do the process ship by ship, one by one. I don't want to go to Pyro. Let me tell you guys, I'm not going to go to Pyro on day 1. As soon as the patch drops, everybody will go there. We'll be stuck for hours. There's gonna be traffic jams of ships. Not to mention, maybe rammers or people who are just going to have fun with all the people waiting to go to Pyro. This is going to be a mess. This is going to be a mess. Mark my words, guys. It will be a mess.
Are within range of it, you need to be changing over to nav mode. Your UI will automatically change
mode,
to
so
the
that
jump drive
means that
UI.
Which will allow you
shields
to know
on top
if
of
you're
that.
aligned, if you're tuned, if you can go in, if it's blocked. You have a visual input of the UI, the HUD is moving, is turning until you have a message notification that tells you, all right, you're aligned. If you look away, of course, that will trigger the cancellation of that alignment. If you move away from your position, you'll lose probably your position in the queue.
This one we knew already.
You'll have red markers
I
that tells
hope that
you
the wake
on the wrong side. You have to move
these
to
are
that
work
direction.
in progress.
You'll have also kind of like a landing strip where you have the lights that tells you you have to go in through this area. So you'll have those rings that pulse and tell you you're
That's a bit like Alpha 2.6, if you guys remember that.
So as soon as the ATC has gotten to your group and you're now able to use the jump gate, your jump drive will start attuning to the gate.
And once you have authorization and you have opened the wormhole, you'll have the tuning visual that's really similar to the aligning, but with tuning messages that tells you what you need to do. And once that's done, you'll have tuning access and you'll be ready to go inside.
While your ship is attuning, you'll see rippling in the anomaly. And as soon as you are attuned, then you can fire a burst of quantum energy into the portal that will rip it open, and you'll have a gate in space that allows you to see the tunnel beyond and travel to your new star system.
When it opens, you'll hear the space around the jump point being ripped apart, and...
So, the way it works now is, that's what I said at the beginning, right? At the beginning, there was a quantum leak that activated the jump point, and people went inside. So, to get inside, you have to shoot quantum energy? Is it like from... So I suppose that this is going to be coming from our quantum fuel tank, right? So it's also going to be depleting the quantum that we have. So that means that once we arrive at Pyro, we might have to refuel, because otherwise we might not have a lot of quantum. I don't know. That sounds a bit sketchy here. Let's continue.
Everything being drawn into it. A really guttural, swirling sound of all the space around the jump point being dragged into this one singularity.
Okay, come on, let's
During
go.
this drawing process, the ships are drawn in automatically. You don't have to control anything. You don't have to do
like some
anything.
Gravity pulling the
ships. There is, in
right?
fact, nothing you can do that would stop you being drawn in.
Sounds a bit scary.
So the plan right now is if there's any obstructions in front of you when you're trying to attune to the gate, that'll break your attunement. So if somebody gets in your way while you're trying to attune, your attunement will pause until that obstruction has gone away. However, if anybody gets too close to the jump gate...
That's good. So if something like some kind of troll goes in front of you and say, haha, they are a drone, now go in front of me and they will crash. So it actually stops. I like that they are trying to figure out ways to stop players from trolling each other. That's actually quite thoughtful, and it's going to be very useful because, always happens right in a game.
And they're not attuned, then they're going to get pushed away, which should clear the area for anybody who's trying to get through.
So for the people who want to block a jump point, we are actually considering our options as to how to prevent that from happening.
That is good to hear.
When you cross the threshold, you'll hear an instantaneous whip of the ship being pulled in and the changing of atmosphere between deep space and this singularity that you're being dragged into.
Once you're in the tunnel, your ship will be flying at a set speed that's determined by the flow of energy through the tunnel.
You'll hear the space around you flying past you at a great pace, like a really long cosmic drain pipe.
And you don't have any control of how fast you're going. You'll speed up in the straights and slow down the corners to a certain degree, but you still have to navigate.
All right, so that's not the final
tunnel itself
stage of development.
Else.
So it's gonna be looking a bit different.
A lot of technical and graphical things that needs to happen.
We've got flickering lights, some type of ethereal type of particle effect to show each type of the direction we're flowing. We also have fog effect, and this idea that you're always moving towards a strong, bright light in the distance. The idea we're going off so far is that we're working on the bending of light.
That's a concept image,
You'll
right?
see impressions of the exterior, the location you've just come from, and also hints of the way you're going to. The walls of the tunnel type of curving the space-time around you, and
so
eventually
so that's why there was that message that says that what we were looking at is like work in progress, because the goal is the pictures that we just saw before. Okay, I
travel through the tunnel. That distortion will move away from the initial system you started in and then blend slowly towards the new system you end up in. We can kind of do anything we want because it's an enclosed space, so we're doing things like,
so it's like
on
its
the
own
rendering
level.
side, we're taking the sunlight, which we don't normally need when you're in an enclosed space, and we're reusing the sunlight, all the text that goes behind that with high-res shadow maps and these type of things and directional occlusion, and then reusing that and using that to create a flickering, pulsating effect in the tunnel. And we can take a lot of shortcuts and do a lot of cool things that aren't really possible in the rest of the game because we have this totally enclosed and bespoke play space.
That's awesome.
You will not see two-lane traffic inside the jump tunnel itself. In the jump tunnel, you'll see the ships ahead of you, and if you look behind, you'll be able to see ships that are in range behind you, but you won't see traffic going the other direction.
Why do you hate fun?
It's not that I hate fun, it's that I want everybody to have a good experience in this tunnel, and if there's other ships there that you can collide with, we want to avoid that kind of situation.
The players' ships, when they're traveling in the tunnel, are going to be in a line. So it's going to be the term that we use internally is ducks
line,
in a row.
no collision.
So one ship behind another ship behind another ship.
There'll be some obstructions in some of the tunnels, which you have to.
Oh, so yeah, so dodging the obstructions maybe will take us into some kind of random space. But I like the idea that there's like this line and the ships are moving at constant speed. I suppose that's what they're talking about here.
Dodge around, but for the most part, it's a matter of turning and navigating through the tunnel and not hitting the sides.
Target, so that's what
because the closer you are to the edge of the tunnel, the more likely you are to fail your jump.
The edges of those tunnels and those obstructions caused.
Okay, so the edge of the tunnel will make you fail the jump, right? So that's the idea. That's why they want us to have some interaction with the jump. It's not going to be like your regular quantum drive in which, you can go to the bathroom and get some coffee and then you come back and still nothing has happened, right? So that's totally not the case. You're gonna have to be at the helm of your ship from the start to the end, right? That's cool.
Distortion damage to your ship.
There's a pool on your jump drive, and if this pool fills with distortion, then your jump drive will shut down. If your jump drive does shut down, then you're going to fail that jump.
You get booted out of the tunnel, and there's a number of places in the system where you could end up based on like how long you've been in the tunnel. You could end up back in Stanton, or you could be in Pyro, but you're not going to be at where you wanted to be. You're going to be at the edge of the system somewhere and have to find your way back.
Currently, the jumps that we are toying with are about 3 minutes, but this is still open to
okay, so it's actually quite long. No, 3 minutes sounds short, but it's actually long when you're just in the tunnel.
How close they are, and the trip needs to be long enough in order to cover the transition from your origin system to your destination
that's the
system.
real trick, isn't it? Right? So it's actually an interactable loading screen. That's what it is.
When you are arriving via a jump point, you will realize that you aren't actually coming through the same entryway that you would have been passing through to go to the next system.
That's smart.
Players will not be able to necessarily camp that point.
Nice. So they are indeed looking for ways to prevent people from camping a spawning point or an arrival point. That's good, because that was my biggest fear, going from one system to another. You get groups of pirates on the other side waiting for you, or security forces, bounty hunters, right? So it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be it's actually going to be random. Okay.
Just for you to exit it. The intention is that there will be multiple locations where you will exit to, and so this will mitigate that threat.
It's kind of a shotgun approach coming out of the jump gate because we don't want everybody to be slamming right into each other. We want to be able to spread the ships out that are coming through and get your own view of your new setting and where you're at.
So when you come out of the pyro side of the jump gate, you should come out into completely different space than on the Stanton side. So it's sort of like a cave of gas. There's also some structures that lead you directly towards the station. You can do anything you like there. It's just a normal R&R station that is just nice and safe before you go out into...
Wait. Is he saying that this is not a derelict station like the other stations? I mean, it does look like it's in good shape, actually. So Pyro is going to have one station. It's going to be the one station in which we are going to be safe. And it looks like there's also an armistice zone, right? I mean, that definitely looks like the icon of an armistice zone as well. I think that's a good move here. You know, just let one area in Stanton where players can be safe. Maybe they set their respawn point there as well, so that they can go on to their adventures. But if they die, for example, right, well, they're not going to be respawning back in Stanton. They can still be here. Obviously, because it's Pyro, probably things are going to be more expensive, rarer, right? But still have a nice little entry point for everybody to go there first and then go on to their adventures in Stanton. That is good. That's a really good idea.
Pyro itself, which is more dangerous, of course.
We've already shown on the tech preview that you can enter a jump gate and come out the other side, and we've got the ability to transfer servers. We've got that working even better than we ever thought we could at the beginning.
Good. That's server meshing he's talking about.
Experience of going through the tunnel as seamless as possible. We don't want it to be super hard, but we want it to be engaging. We're going to save the challenging experience, the super hard acrobatics for the transient gates when we get to them.
We're dialing in the numbers about how many people jump at the same time, distance between ships, precisely the speed at which ships move down the tunnel, things like that. There's a lot of variables involved in balancing it, and there will be far more testing in the tech preview channel for jump points, so you can look forward to helping us figure out there.
Yeah, it's really exciting to be to this point where we're able to deliver this new system of transferring yourself from one star system to another.
We're still in
being
Evil
able to
Caddy
visit
4
an entirely new star system and having that experience of going from Stanton to Pyro. It's going to be exciting.
Thanks for watching, and we're all really looking forward to being able to
we are
make
looking
these jumps
forward to as well.
Just a normal part of our gaming life.
There you go.
Which is fun, because jumping is fun.
So what did we learn this week? Well, hopefully a whole heck of a lot about the first jump point that's currently in development. And scheduled to make its way into Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 in just the next few months. Yeah, I didn't say before the end of this year. We're still targeting something a bit sooner than that. And that's all I'm going to say.
So he didn't say before the end of this year, sooner than before the end of the year. So they're trying Season Con, right? That's what they're trying, I suppose, right? I guess we can imagine. Let me know in the comment section down below as well what you guys think. Anyway, it looks like it's the end of this Inside Star Citizen. A great one, great visuals. Looking forward to trying those jump points, and I'll see you guys in the next one.